Every year, we end up with a few little juniper volunteers, little cute babies, here in the shade garden. This is a great way, if you'll very gently prick these up out of the ground and pot them up, or just plant them elsewhere in the yard. It's a great way to save money on new plants. It requires some patience because they're just teeny tiny, but it's well worth it. So one of my tasks today is to pull these up very carefully and repot them. I've done this with several over the years, so let's look at a few of them and see how they've come along. This one, I think he's about 2 years old, maybe a year and a half, something like that. And I just have him in this big pot. I've also put in some flower seeds, some that some of our frugal friends sent to us, or others that we have found in the bins. We've found so many seeds that way. I'll show you some of those later. But here's one of those little volunteers, and eventually he'll end up out in the backyard. But for now, he is here on the porch, getting a little bit of tender, loving care. In getting ready to transplant my little volunteer junipers, I've gotten out a couple of things that are, of course, from the bins. There was this little package of 3 mini terracotta planters. There was a package of 3 mini terracotta planters, and then another package with most of them broken. Looks like all of them are broken. I didn't throw them away because all of these broken pieces can be used. Add them in the bottom of your little pots, and that way you've got your drainage. The British, I believe, call these crocks, which I think is cute. So I've got those ready, and these are going to be very temporary because they are so small, but it will give them just a happy little start. I'm going to go ahead and fill them with some soil. Then I have this little clay working tool that is, of course, from the bins. So is this little plastic holder. And we will go ahead and very gently release them from the ground and plant them up right here. We're going to start here with the biggest one of our little volunteers. I'm going to clear the area around it, and it's not a matter of pulling it. You don't want to pull him from the ground. He will be traumatized. But we're going to just kind of dig around. You could use your trowel, small spade, and a clay tool like this is really better suited for the little teeny tiny ones. But where I'm already here, we're gonna just go ahead and do it. So we're just loosening everything up around him. And you can do these bare root. That's totally fine. But if you want, you can also bring up a little bit of soil with him. You'll notice this one is kind of buried in and amongst roots of the big tree above it. So it's a little tricky, but you want to get under it and sever some of those roots. Don't pull it by the stem or what is the future trunk. You don't want to do that. Learn that the hard way. We are going to very quickly get him into the little pot and add some water. I am definitely finding many more this year than I have any other year. They are just everywhere. Now, a lot of people and this was me in the past, would have just pulled these up like weeds and tossed them, not thinking about the potential. Not thinking about the potential here. Use a little bit of imagination. Look around your yard and see, where could I use these? And picture them at full size. All right, keep all those things in mind as you're deciding how many you're going to save for your own use. But hey, start a swap. Get a hold of some of your friends that are also into gardening and say, hey, I've got a bunch of little volunteers popping up. Would you like me to save a few for you? And do you have anything popping up that, you'd like to pass on? We can swap, do a little trade. You can get a lot of free stuff that way. For now, I'm going to keep all these little tiny seedlings here on the porch in a fairly shady area that just gets some dappled sun throughout the day. When they are hardy, when they have formed really good root bases, we will divide up these ones into their own pots. We will put these little tiny ones into much bigger pots where they will have room to grow, as with this one. And if we take good care of them, keep an eye on them, feed them, but water them carefully. Keep in mind, especially on that first time watering them, you just want to sprinkle the tops, but put water below for them to pull up. Otherwise, you're just going to wash all of the soil away and leave them exposed. Be so careful. But with the right care, with some love, with some tenderness, in a few years' time, let me show you what you're going to have. Here on the back patio in this lovely pot is one of our most beautiful junipers. It is the first one that I saved. It is about 4.5, maybe 5 years old. It would be even bigger than this if it were planted straight into the ground and not in a pot, but I'm going to be lining this whole patio area with these junipers as they get bigger. I do have another one out in the yard, and it is growing faster than this one that I'm going to use kind of ornamentally as a topiary, shaping it over time. This one I will also keep somewhat shaped, but the idea is to get a bunch of these pots. We have several that we found in the bins last year, and we'll update you as we move them into those pots. But to line this patio, especially the grass area, and give a little more shade back here and make it a more pleasant area to spend time. But yeah, free. All I had to do was give it some tender, loving care and provide for it and feed it, and we've ended up with this beautiful, very, very fragrant tree here in the yard, and there will be several more. So like I said, we'll put some out here to add some shade and some color and height and structure here on the patio. Stay tuned for more of that. But also, I'm going to see if we can construct a sort of hedge out in the Wonderland garden, so stay tuned for that. One final note on volunteers. The thing about volunteers is you don't control where they show up. They can pop up anywhere, including in the cracks of your pavement. Some lettuce here. I have not pulled it. I am going to here soon. It has been protected because we have this table here from when we had a picnic the other day. And it's been well protected, and it's been raining quite a bit, so it should taste nice, gotten plenty of water, but I don't want to let it get too much bigger because weeds and things in these cracks and crevices cause bigger cracks and crevices, ones that we do not want. So I will be pulling that in the next day or two. So with your volunteers, if they are going to be transplanted, you want to do it while they are young, unless they happen to pop up in a spot where you think they're going to be happy to live. All right, that is all I've got for you for today. Come on back for some more budget gardening with the Frugal family. We'll see you all very soon. Have a great day.